Welcome gamers to the start of a new Let's Play series. We're going to be playing Distant Worlds 2. My name is DasTeekan. Welcome to the channel. Really looking forward to this. I've been waiting for so long for this game to come out. Years, literally years. And I've been live streaming it like crazy. And so this will be my actual playthrough of the game. So let's just go and start a new game. We're going to be playing with a ring galaxy with a dense centre. That way we sort of end up with having the galaxy sort of split into two with a dense nebula ring to sort of give us a lot of separation in around this sort of no man's land. So it's going to be difficult to break through from the centre to the ring. So this is going to be interesting in the sense that there will be a completely different game happening on the outside, completely different game happening on the inside. Go to Galaxy Settings. We're going to start everyone off on young, which means that they have 2 to 4 colonies and have explored their nearby systems. This just gives us a bit of a head start along in the game. What it doesn't do, though, is really allow us to... We still have very, very slow research initially. So we've got a bit of catching up to do. The galaxy aggression I've got with unstable, and difficulty will be just on hard as well. So difficulty, this alters the empire rates for various in-game factors relative to the player. So this is like a player-specific aspect to it. Research speed, I'll keep that on normal. The research of visibility, I'll have that only the next project's visible, and research pathing will be random. So we'll have a few options or opportunities that may appear with this one, and I'll allow tech trading. Threats, the defaults, colonization, defaults, except that I have pushed the colonization range limit down slightly, which means that we're going to, for some of the opportunities we may have to settle, we may have to invade other planets to sort of take them over. Now, our race, we're going to be playing as the Teakins. The Teakins are sort of like a smallish, I guess the easiest way to think of them is like the small little characters out of Star Wars, and I can't think of what their names are. You know, the ones that sort of like the scavengers on the on that desert world at the in Star Wars 1 or Star Wars 4, whatever the first movie actually was. Anyway, I forgot what their names are. Someone in the comments will be I bet you one of the first comments will say, "Oh, that's a such and such." So thank you if you're that person. Thank you, because I've completely forgotten what their names are. So they're very, very weak. I won't spend too much time sort of reading these things through. A lot of it's just sort of flavour text anyway, but it really is. These are if you have a look at this is the history, the personality. This is the personality if it wasn't us playing them. But I'm still going to be trying to sort of role play these a little bit. It sort of gives you a bit of a feel for how things are set up for them, though. So they're not aggressive. They're at negative 10% aggression. They're not very cautious, though, either. They sort of do throw caution to the wind. They are neither dependable or not. So they will break agreements, but you know they'll. You know, they're not going to stand fast with agreements if it's not going for them, but they're not going to break them just for the sake of breaking them. Reproduction rate is 7%. This one is actually important to us, so this is actually how fast they reproduce. I think the default is 6%, but I'm not 100% sure. It may be 7%. I think that what's humans? They're 6%, yeah. So I'm thinking that maybe 6% is the average. Migration tendency. So these are adventurers. They will tend to want to migrate to new worlds. So they're looking to the stars. They've sort of got stars in their eyes, into their 3 eyes, and they are sort of then moving out across into these are like the rodents of the galaxy, I guess, in one sort of sense. And their assimilation rate is that if anyone does take us over, we are going to assimilate very, very quickly. Like, we're sort of happy enough to be under control of other players. Although, having said that, I was playing a game the other day on a live stream where I did take over a Teakin world, and man, they just kept on fighting and fighting and fighting. I mean, they weren't winning, but they were fighting for so long. So they weren't as compliant as it maybe looks in through here. Anyway, the colonization modifiers, we're very, very good with sandy desert worlds. You can sort of see down through here. I won't explain how this all works. It's a bit convoluted. But anyway, sandy desert worlds are what we really like. We're okay with desert savannas, and we're sort of okay with rocky deserts, but we'd have to be very lucky to find a rocky desert planet that would be suitable for us to really sort of be considered suitable. But sandy deserts, we're going to find a lot of them, and we're going to do well on sandy deserts, but so are the Mortallans. They're not as bad as I guess. Yeah, they've still got a little bit sandy deserts in through there. Anyway, Teakins. We'll just keep on going back with these guys. Bonuses, we have bonuses for mining, damage control, repair rates, trade income, and ship construction speed. And we pretty much, it says, it's showing all negatives through there, but these, I think anything under negative 50 is actually pretty good. So we sort of get on pretty well with everyone. The only ones we really struggle with are like the aggressive ones, like the Mortallans, the Boscarans, the Dayuts, even the Naxilians, the Shandar. Actually, the Shandar's okay. The Slukin. So we're looking, what you're looking at when you're looking at Slukin, Dayut, Boscarans, you're looking at insectoids. We don't like insectoids all that much. And Mortallans are reptilians, Harkonish are reptilians. So no one likes the insectoids. Okay, so except other insectoids. There's only 7 playable factions in the game at this stage, but the plan is that these will be introduced over time. So expect to see more and more of these being introduced over the course of the development of the game itself. It's just that it's such a lot of work to actually bring a faction into the game now compared to Distant Worlds Universe. Now, we have preferred government types of mercantile guilds or monarchy. We're going to be playing as a mercantile guild just because it's a little bit different. One of the big problems we have, and probably our biggest issue, is the actual attack strength and on defense strength of the base defense or an attack of on the ground of our units. We're extremely weak. So for a maintenance of 200, we get 4,000 size troops. So we have our troops are smaller than most of the others in the galaxy, which means we can squeeze more of them onto transports. But our attack and defense is very, very weak. As an example, if we have a look at the humans, which are sort of like, I guess, a bit of a baseline, we have a look at their troops. They've got a little bit, like they've got, instead of 4,000, they've got 5,000, same maintenance for that, but their attack and defense is about double what we actually have. So the humans are a lot stronger than we are. The Mortallans, which are the strongest in the galaxy, are even more in through there. So playing as the Teakins, fighting on worlds is not our strength, and in fact fighting in space is not really our strength either, which is what's going to make them a bit fun to play, because we're going to have to do that. Okay, so anyway, our empire and government, we're going to we'll go with a monarchy, and I'm just trying to think of a name. I think I'll call it the DasTeekan Guilds. There we go. We'll have multiple guilds. Empire flag, I'll just keep it the default for the Teakins. That'll be okay. We've got government is monarchy. It's not monarchy. If the government is going to be mercantile guild, and so we have all sorts of different things in through here. The special that we really have, I guess the big things we have is that we're good with diplomacy. We're excellent with trade income. So we wanted to get as many trade agreements as we possibly can with other factions. We're fairly friendly, so hopefully we won't end up with too many insectoids near us. And the special abilities we can manually control our mining ships. We won't do that much, but if push comes to shove and we really need something badly, I can take control of them and just get them to start doing specific mining operations if we need to. So that's just one little bonus you have playing as a mercantile guild. All right, starting situation. Again, I'm just going to match the others with a young start, level 1. I'm going to set this one up to go into the center, so we start in the middle of the galaxy. By the way, when you are setting up games, sometimes you'll do this and then you'll end up on the outer rim. It's because there was no space left for you when the game did try to start. It couldn't slot you in anywhere, depending on how you've set the game up. So sometimes these won't work. It's not a bug. It just means that it couldn't find a slot for you in there. This is like a preference, not actually a I'm definitely starting in the middle. Although I'd say that with the way we're going to be doing this, we probably should be okay. We've got 12, this is the default, 12 empires starting in through here. And then next we have the victory conditions. I've moved the victory threshold down to 50%, which means that the game will finish a lot earlier than what it normally would. So let's just go that way, start the game. And we do that in under 10 minutes, which is actually, that's a world record for me, I think, with Distant Worlds. Normally I talk about all that sort of stuff ad nauseum. So here we are. Our faction is known as the DasTeekan Guilds. Our government is Mercantile Guild. We're the Teakin. Teakin have natural skills in mining rate, damage control, repair rate, trade income, and ship construction speed. Our leader is Hassan Shokaya, skilled in military ship construction speed, colony corruption reduction. That's great. That's awesome to have our leader with that. Trade income and tourism income. This is all, okay, our leader looks like a great little leader. So Asan Shakaya is certainly the leader that the Teakins needed to have. Our home colony is Pleiados 5, a sandy desert planet in the Pleiados system. Nearby is the rocky silicon moon of Rawagio. Regao? Whatever it is, it's a rocky silicon moon. Our level of technology is expanding, allowing us to explore beyond our home system. Explore, expand, and conquer. Let's get started. Looks like we've only got the one colony, so we didn't start with two, we only started with one. That's still okay. And here we are. Now, when you play beyond the tech of the normal start, you often don't get the welcoming screen, so just be aware of that. The reason we're not getting the welcoming screens is because of this expanded start or this accelerated start that we've actually gone with. I'm just going to pause this very briefly because we've got a few little things to set up. In fact, what I might do is I might just let it go for 1 month and we'll just see what pop-ups do come up. So there's our leader. He's now on board. I wanted to wait until the numbers corrected themselves so we can now have a bit of a look. So let's just pause where we are and just do an evaluation. So did we start in the core? I think we did. Yep, on the edge of the core. So you can see there we've got nebulas all the way through here. By the way, I turn the nebulas on by default. That's what they look like. But the nebulas are very, very limiting at the very start of the game. So by all means, I like having them on. I wish that these were discs rather than spheres because you can sort of get a bit lost. I think that they are going to look at changing that at some point, I hope. Anyway, this is where we are. Now, one of the interesting things we can see through here, we've got 2 pirate factions already that we are aware of inside our area of influence, inside the borders of our empire. The borders don't extend into the nebulas unless we actually can control something inside a nebula. So not that the borders don't mean anything other than a representation that other empires can't build inside here. So that they can still move mining ships in to take the resources, but they can't actually build mining stations if they know that it's our territory. So we need to find out who our neighbours are. I'm glad that we sort of do have that we can sort of, if we're going to expect things to come, we can pretty much expect them to come through this way if there's going to be any sort of aggression. Now we do actually have these pirate factions that are available as well. We are aware of them. How much are we aware of them? Do we get to see them? Yeah, we do. All right, so not super strong at this stage, actually. Like these are only 459 with 864 shielding. So the shields are up there, but the actual strength, you've got Intimidator, Surge Blast, Concussion Missiles, and Railguns. They do have a medium Starfighter Bay. All right, so this will be our first task, will be to sort of figure out how to destroy these before they get too aggressive with us. Back over through here, we have another one as well. The reason now that I can see these, I want to get an idea. Yeah, about the same. This one's even weaker. It still has medium Starfighter bays, less shielding on this one here, and we can sort of see the actual pirates themselves. We probably haven't met them yet, but we're aware of them. We're aware of them before they're aware of us, which is interesting. All right, so that's they're going to be things we're going to need to take out. Now, playing at level 2 right from the very, very start, we do have. Our tech does allow us to then have we've got different things we can actually do through here. We do start off with frigates. So we're going to be designing a frigate straight away to probably take out those bases, I think will be the important thing for those. Our actual research is very, very weak, but it wants us to sort of try for hyperdrive technology, which is a good thing, so to get the Jerax hyperdrive. But you can see there, 36 years to research that one is a really, really long time. So that's going to, we're in no rush to do anything, but that's the one that I do want to have next. Now, we have all sorts of different things, but starting at level 1 does give us a nice head start with a lot of these different things. So we end up with better scanners. We can just sort of do better things as far as the exploration is concerned. As playing as the Teakins, we get a little bit of a boost along as well with some of our unique tech. Our unique tech isn't that awesome. Actually, one of them isn't too bad. These heavy iron weapons are pretty damn good, to be honest. What these do is these disable systems. And so we need to use these in conjunction with other things. They're very, very large at size 48. But if we can make use of lots and lots of these, we can bring things down to the point where we can then sort of take them over and do other sorts of weird and wonderful things. We also have an extended range, like we've got our own tractor beam technology that we can get. Again, this is going to be quite expensive to get, like at 30 years of research. Not really worth getting at this stage. The other things that we actually do have, we'll be wanting to bring the shields down as fast as possible playing as the Teakins when we look at our ships, so that we can then make use of these iron weapons. The iron weapons are good when the shields are down. You'll sort of see halfway through there, underneath the speed, it's got then shield bypass of negative 25% and armor bypass of plus 25. So the other weapon that we needs to get past shielding. So we need to draw the shields down as quickly as we can. We'll have a look at that when we get into actually designing. The other thing that we end up having as the Teakins, we have got a few things where we have some unique techs. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Oh, maybe I'm getting it confused. Yeah, maybe getting it confused with some others. Yeah, it might be just the tractor beams and the iron weaponry. I'm sure there was another one. Yeah, that's all we can see there. All right, well that's still, at least we've got the we've got the heavy iron weapons in through this side, and this is actually an area attack. This iron bomb is actually it's sort of like an area weapon and an iron weapon combined. So it's a very, very strong piece of equipment. So we'll exit the research there, and we'll go in and now start doing our ship designs. Actually, but by the way, before we do this, I'm just going to quickly go into the automation, the policies, and just make sure that we are. I like to start on default, and then I like to come down the bottom here and just change the last three: fleet formation, fleet postures, and fleet ship management, all to manual. So that's the way I like to start the game. So I'll leave that one there. I think everything else is on defaults. Yep, that's okay, that's good. And we'll now just go across to the ship designs, and we'll start with our frigates. So it's already got like a frigate 2 is what it's sort of wanting to do. If we have a look and see what this thing's got on board, so we can have a bit of a look to see how this thing actually does work. One of the interesting things playing as the Teakins is that our main weaponry points backwards. We're not expected to stay in fights much, we're not really. We've got like a small weapon at the front there, but our big weapon, when we have a look at this one, is at the back. So we've only got small weaponry around. We've got a couple on either side at like they sort of extend out at 225 degrees. The big one at the back there, and then we've just got another 270-degree weapon at the front there. So for us, we're not expected to stay in fights because we're not all that strong. When you compare, if you have a look at any of the other factions, they're not geared with all their weapon pointing backwards. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we end up with seeking weapons, things like this Intimidator Surge Blast. Like the Teakins, it's useless us going with direct fire weaponry. Now the AI does a good job when it does design the ships down through here, and I won't spend too much time going through this, but I think I'm going to get rid of that Intimidator Surge Blast. It's looking at the 6.14 damage per second with that, which is fairly good. It's got small concussion missiles off to the sides. It's not using the other side, and it's got the Sentinel multi-beam defense, which I am happy with at the front there. I'll get rid of this as well, I think, the concussion missile, although maybe that may still be like something we do go with. But let's go with the, let's have a look at these. If we go with the latest components, latest per category, and then we just go and sort by bay type and then category. That way we'll have everything sort of combined, that where there might be multiple of the same types. And so these area weapons, we've got the iron bomb in there at size 48, and we've got the Intimidator Surge Blast. These are the two large components that we can put on this thing. We also have like an Atomic Devastator, which is a bombard weapon for taking out planets, which we won't be doing. If our reputation drops too much, that's going to then impact our trade, and so we don't want to, like playing as a mercantile guild, we don't want to be doing that. We want to be playing a fairly friendly diplomatic game. So Atomic Devastator will probably never ever install them on any ship. But this one here, I'm thinking the iron bomb, the only place we can sort of fit that size, 48, is something that can take up to 120, which is our large. which is at the back here. So I'm just going to click that on there. In goes the iron bomb. Now, as I said before, what we're looking for is weaponry that can take out shielding. And so if we go and have a look at, like this is 28. Now, I've only got up to size 19, so I can only really go for small weaponry. Like if we go for the Thuan beam, for example, the Thuan beam, when we hover over this one, is a full-length beam, which means that it has to, the angles that we have are the angles that it has to then make use of. And so if we, for example, put Thuan beams in through here, if we're moving forward, we don't really get much of a shot. Actually, maybe we do direct, we may get one just sort of sneaking past the front here. With that one, it may be viable. Maybe. Let's have a look at this. A few of the others. So the Maxos Blaster. Just looking for anything that does shield damage. Nothing there that does specific shield damage. The railguns are good in the sense that they do shield damage. If we have a look at this one here, shield bypass of plus 50%, but that's not really. You know, they're not going to be viable. They're too short range for us. We need long range. Playing the way that we're going to have to be playing, we are quite weak. We've got the point. These are all point defense, which we don't need to worry about. The iron cannon. We've already now got our iron bomb at the back there. Concussion missiles. This is what we were looking at before. These do have shield bypass of plus 25. Yeah, okay, so concussion missile is the perfect one for us in the on those side areas. And these are also seeking, so everything from the back can sort of fire and still hit the front. So we can actually, the concussion missiles are perfect for us. These torpedoes, if we just hover over, well actually there, we've got the concussion missile and the Epsilon torpedoes. If we just do a bit of an analysis between them, what we'll see is the damage per second is higher with the Epsilon torpedo. The what else have they got? The range is lower. Actually, there we go. It's the next one down. The shield bypass. These are negative 40%. So we're still better off having the concussion missile to break down the shielding. So we'll go concussion. So I'll grab another one of those. Whoops. Grab another one of those and just make sure that we put it in that slot there. Okay, so we're slightly over the size limits that we actually have. Now we've got a small starfighter bay. That's actually useful for us. I think I might keep that. I'm just trying to find some way to make use of this because we only get four craft, but it'll help us swarm into different things. I can see that being quite useful ultimately. For the sake of just 4, we've got to find another way out of this. Another way out. Okay, so we've got damage control unit. We need both fission reactors. We need the crew systems. We need the command center. There's really not much else we can get rid of. I don't want to get rid of another fuel cell. How many have we got? We can still put another engine on. If I got rid of the starfighter bay. How big is that? It's only 25. I might get rid of this. That's going to give us a lot of space. We can then go, because we're going to be disabling ships, let's go for assault pods. Throw an assault pod in there as well. It gets us up. We've still got 10 more slots. And we've still got the crew capacity. Everything else is looking good there. So I think what we might do is we might just go and get... So this will allow us to disable ships and then take them over. That way we'll be able to get more powerful type ships, particularly against these the pirates. So we've got still got another 10 that we can put on, which is basically another fuel cell. So we get it... Oh, hang on. No, if we go... The proton engine is 20, which we can't afford to put on. Now, if we went with proton engines, our speed is okay at 52 cruise speed and 59 sprint speed. That's actually not too bad. I think I might leave that, and we will get another fuel cell. That's just going to give us range. So we'll go with range over speed. So our speed has dropped by 1 because of the extra weight. Okay, this is good. One of the benefits we have is the amount of general slots we can put in our ship. So we can we can specialise our ships in different ways, playing as the Teakins, that other factions like the Boscarans just can't do. But if we come up against a Boscaran frigate, our frigate is going to be absolutely outclassed. So, so just be aware that the Boscarans are still going to be like ship for ship. We're in a lot of trouble here with this particular design. Now we've almost got enough. I was thinking before, almost got enough. If I ditched one of these, which is size, well, that was up there, wasn't it? These were actually size 19. It's almost. I'll keep the concussion missiles coming. I'll keep them on there rather than the fighter base. So this is our junk ship, basically. So we'll frigate 2. We'll call this one an iron frigate. Okay, so that's done. Save and exit. And let's have a look and see what we've got. Now we want to make this so that the AI doesn't override it. So we're just going to go to and click the auto design on through there. So there's the iron frigate, and then we've got the escort. And so we're just going to go and have a quick look at what this one's got. It has got 3 fuel cells. It's got good stuff in there. It's only got the 2 engines. It's still fast though. Again, it's got its main weaponry is behind, and it's gone with a intimidated surge blast back in through there. I'm gonna make big use of the iron cannons, I think, because they are really what our ships are all about. Now that still leaves us with another. We've still got a bit there we can put on board. If we got rid of another fuel cell, do we want the speed? We don't actually need the speed. That's the front of the ship there. So we'll go with the point defense, which is fine at the front. You were close to being able to pop another engine on. Just takes it over by 4. That makes them really fast. Not that we need them fast though. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Just get rid of one of the engines. And everything else is looking. Actually, we've got so much fuel cells there. If we get rid of one of the fuel cells, that does allow us to then go and pick up one of the others. Yeah, maybe we go back that way. We get another proton engine. The speed can be useful, but for us, it's not really only for us trying to escape would be the only reason that we'd be wanting to do that one. So we've got extremely fast escorts. And so we'll call this one an iron escort. Save and exit. One thing I love about this game is just how the... actually, what sort of escort is that? If we go and add new, we do actually have, if we go by roles, we've got heavy escorts. If we click on these things, we can sort of see what they've got. The heavy escort's got 2 with 1. I think we've got a patrol escort, the one that we're using, 1 and 1 with 4 engine slots. This will be the one. Yeah, 11 general. And if we just go with an escort through here, just 10 general slots. So I think we've got patrol escorts, which is fine. So that's the actual hull that we're using. So that's cool. That is cool. Okay, so and we make these also manual. So we'll just make sure that we don't override those. Okay, so now we need to start building these things. So let's just go back into our build order. And we're going to be mainly wanting to build iron frigates. And I'm going to need a lot of them, probably about 12 of them, I think, to take out these bases. I'll see how many I can build. I can just click on this. 5, 6, only up to 8 at this stage. So we'll purchase those. That was all the money that we actually had. So we're going to get 8 to start with. We'll just unpause the game, come back in, click on these, put all of these into a fleet. So this will be the first pirate fleet. Call it that for now. We can always change it. And ruled by the sinister Banshee. So away she goes. Now we are out of time, guys, so I'm going to leave it here. Sign mission. Yeah, we do want to be building as many of these things as possible. Actually, we've got a candidate there also for colonization. Now the pirates will cause problems for us, so we'll have to sort of wait and see what they bring with them. But other than that, I think we've now made our first steps. The frigates, one of the things I want to do with these frigates is it's going to allow us to take over pirate ships. And so we'll end up with a second fleet of pirate ships, and they should ultimately be fairly good designs for us. Like, you know, that will be the goal anyway, once we start to sort of build those things. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in episode 2.